Hello and welcome back to my channel, or if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm so happy to have you. Today's video, we are going to be talking cushion foundations. You caught my last video, I just recently did a foundation declutter, and I had pulled aside several cushion foundations that I said I was just gonna kind of review for you guys, demo them for you. Originally, I had 5 different ones to test, and then I didn't do my proper research before starting this video. 2 of them are now either like discontinued or I can no longer find. One of them was a limited edition product, and then the other I just can't find on a site that I personally shop on. I have worked with YesStyle several times in the past. This video isn't sponsored by any means, but a lot of these I did purchase from YesStyle. So I reached out and asked if I could have a new coupon code just in case if you guys do see anything that you're interested in, which I hope there is, because there's one that I absolutely love that I want you guys to try. It's just Danna 10, and that saves you some money from purchases of $49 or more. So I'll go ahead, leave all that down below. Let's go ahead and dive right on into these little foundation reviews. I hope you guys enjoy. The very first cushion foundation that we're gonna start the series off with is the Pony Effect Everlasting Cushion Foundation. It comes in 3 different formulas. There is the Cover Stay or Cover Matte. I have some notes down here. Cover Stay, that one's supposed to be the matte finish. Everlasting, which is the one we have today, is the radiant finish. And then there's also a Defense Longwear. That one just says sleek finish. I think that one might be newer because I really only ever remember this one, and then the Cover Stay, although it's been a while since I've used it. Mine is in shade number 22 if you're familiar with cushion foundations. It used to really only be 20, 21, 22, 23, but they have, well, not all of them, but a lot of foundation ranges have expanded some. But if you're familiar with Korean foundations, you know that the shade range is still pretty small. So I have mine in Nude Beige, which is number 5 out of 7 in the foundation lineup. This is actually 50% off right now on the date that I'm filming this. So it's currently $14.55. It's typically $29.10. But the thing with cushion foundations is a majority of them come with a refill, which is what I have in here because I know my other one was expired. So typically they just pop right out of their compact. You get a brand new air puff and then a new cushion foundation that you just pop right back in. As with most other cushion foundations, this one does have a light buildable coverage. A few other claims: it has SPF 50 plus PA+++. It says that it's supposed to be moisturizing and it's ideal for dry skin. So here is the packaging. Inside you have the air puff, and then you have the little flip top, and then this is a new refill. So we're gonna peel this guy off. Wow, that's satisfying. On my face right now, I have my typical moisturizer SPF. Whether a product has SPF or not, I still always go in with a layer of SPF. And then just for my glowy base, I've been loving this from Glow Recipe. This is just a travel size that I got from my friend Laura. It's the Watermelon Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops Ultimate Glow Brightening. And then anytime I use a cushion foundation, just because sometimes if I go in with a concealer on top of a cushion foundation, since a cushion foundation does have lighter coverage, I feel like if I do my concealer on top, there's a huge difference between my concealer coverage-wise versus my cushion foundation. So I always like to go in with some sort of corrector or concealer on my eyes first, and then a cushion on top. This is from Innisfree. I love this stuff. I've gone through countless bottles. Now, if you do want to go in for even more of a lighter coverage, you can get an air puff wet the way that you get a beauty blender wet. You just really want to make sure and you squeeze out all of the excess water, but I'm just going in with just the cushion foundation. So I like to get a good amount, and then typically I'll kind of like tap right onto here and then just begin patting. Ooh, I would definitely say this is more than light coverage, unless it really blends out, because I have other cushion foundations that I've used in the past that have, oh, I probably grabbed way too much lighter coverage than this. That was me even dabbing off some of the excess product, and I'm still getting a lot of product on this sponge. I would say this is more of like a medium coverage, wouldn't you? Especially if I build on top of it, but I'm really liking that coverage right there. It's not as dewy as like the House Labs foundation, which I've been so obsessed with lately, but it does have a really nice glowy finish. So there's the side with, and then here is the side without. I feel like the shade match is pretty good. Like, it just seems to melt right in. It is a touch light. Let's see how much more I do have on the sponge that I could press. Yeah, I feel like I may have gotten like way too much onto my sponge, so that's why it started off with more of that medium coverage, because that's typically about how much I pick up on the sponge. I think what happened is that this was a brand new refill pack, so it was extra, I don't want to say wet, but the cushion was just really plump and juicy and ready to go versus like after you've used it a few times. So I think that's why I just ended up getting so much product on my sponge. Let's go ahead and drag this down. This has a really nice air puff though. I've used a ton of air puffs and just the squish of this one is really nice. It just feels much more high quality compared to other sponges that I've used. For instance, the one in the Romand compacts are so-so to me. This one just has much more of a bounce. The foundation does still have a bit of a tackiness, and something that I notice with cushion foundations is some of them sometimes are too wet where they transfer way too easily. Like if I were just to barely butt my face, it just like wipes right off. This doesn't seem to do that, but there is still tack to it. And it just seems like most radiant cushion foundations that I've used, just because it seems like a lot of cushion foundations are trying to achieve the whole glass skin effect. And in order to have that, you kind of have to keep somewhat of this like wet tackiness to your face. Just to stay on theme, I went in with other K-Beauty products. For my bronzer, I used the I Mimi bronzing stick in the shade 01. My blush, one of my all-time favorite cream blushes. I don't think they sell this one on YesStyle anymore, which devastates me because I think I have 2 shades. There was another shade that I had my eye on for a while, never came back in stock. If I can track it down online, I will link it down below. And then for my highlighter, I kind of applied this just all over my cheek just because it isn't an intense like foiled traditional highlighter that you'd find here in the States. It has more of like this glass. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people, which I know this is a known thing, a lot of brands just kind of replicate K-Beauty products that have been out for years. For instance, I don't own any of them, like, but I've swatched them. The Makeup by Mario, it's like a lipstick balm sort of formula. The 3CE ones have been around for years. I think they're called like melting balms, glass shine, something like that. I've talked about them before, and the way they glide on, the pigmentation, everything is almost identical. I'm not saying that this is the same as the Rare Beauty highlighter because I have not used it before. I haven't even touched the Rare Beauty one. But if you like the way that the Rare Beauty highlighter has more of like a sheer base but still gives your skin glow, this does that for my face. I do wish I had another more like pearl shade just because this has a little bit more of like a peachy tone to it. But do you see what I mean? Like you can still see through it in that kind of like glass skin effect, but then there's still this glow that's on top of my face without looking like there's like a powder or just straight up opaque cream highlighter on top. This is the 3CE Glow Beam highlighter in the shade #Go to Show. Love this one. For the second one, we're going to be going in with Clio's Kill Cover. This one also comes in several different finishes. The one that we're going to be using today is the Clio Kill Cover Glow Cushion Foundation. I have mine in the shade 4 Ginger. This has SPF 50 plus PA+++++. It comes in 6 different shades. This one also retails for around $25, but just like the previous one, it also comes with a refill. It's infused with 2 kinds of powder, but you're still supposed to have a radiant finish with it. It says that it's a boron nitride powder that reflects light. I do have the deepest of the 6, which is in 4 Ginger. One thing that I do want to note is that this is actually the older compact. It comes with a different font on it now, but I accidentally broke mine, but I still had the old compact, which luckily the refill just snaps right into. Here's what the shade looks like. This looks much deeper than the previous one. For my under eyes, instead of going in with the Innisfree, I just wanted to play with something different today. So I'm using the Smashbox Photo Op Under Eye Brightener. It just says Illuminator. It is actually really pretty. It doesn't give the same amount of coverage as the Innisfree one, but it did brighten up my under eyes, which was the main thing that I was looking for. Not quite as much as the Innisfree one, but it'll do. Okay, it's not as dark as I thought it was gonna be. I got nervous looking at it in the cushion. Also, I realized afterwards that I totally forgot to come back in and do a check-in with the cushion foundation. Okay, this is, I dipped way too hard in there and it's just like leaking over the cushion. So we are just gonna dab that. I did wash my Pony Effect one, and honestly, this is still my favorite puff. So I'm just gonna use this puff instead to press the product in. All right, so as I was saying, I totally forgot to do a check-in, but the foundation did last well throughout the day. I still noticed that I did lose a little bit of the coverage right here, even after setting it with some powder, but I also wore it for way longer than what I typically wear foundation. We stayed up late that night and I just didn't wash my face till later in the day. I know that when I was sitting on the couch, I was going like this, so I really only noticed it on one side of my face, but that didn't really shock me. Everywhere else it lasted great, and there were areas on my face that I didn't even go in and set with powder, so it stayed fine there. But areas that I just tend to lose coverage throughout the day with any sort of foundation, I did notice it just started to break up a little bit in those areas. But other than that, it lasted fine. It was a cooler day. I wasn't really battling any sort of humidity or anything, so I didn't have any issues with it just like sliding or slipping around my face. I tend to be more on the normal to dry side anyway, so even in the summer months, I don't have too many issues with that. If you are really oily, cushion foundations probably aren't the best for you unless you go in and seek out the matte ones, which there are definitely options in several lines that have matte cushions. In fact, I've tried one from, what's it? I think it may have actually been from Clio. I want to say it's Power Stay or something like that. That one was way too matte on my face. So if you are really oily and you're still wanting to try a cushion foundation and you can find your shade, definitely go for the matte ones, because cushion foundations typically, like, the standard formula tends to be more of like a dewy, radiant finish. So definitely seek out something matte if you are oily, which, I mean, I guess that's the case for most foundations. But if you're normal to dry, I think you will love cushion foundation. I did end up going in with about 2 layers just because I felt like my skin just looked kind of blah today, and I have to say I'm really liking the finish of this one. In fact, I think I already prefer this one over the Pony Effect one. This one seems to be drying down quicker than the Pony Effect one as well. This one just feels even more lightweight than the Pony Effect. For using just the Smashbox one today, I feel like I still got good coverage on my under eyes. Here is a close-up look of the foundation after applying some bronzer, blush, and highlighter. I'm really glad I'm doing this video because it's really making me want to pull out all of my other older K-beauty favorites. I went in with the Clio Prism highlighter. I'm pretty sure this comes in 2 shades. This is number 1 Gold Sheer. I had used so much of my other one that the outer edge started to crumble up. So my mom got me a new one when she was just in Korea. Clio does amazing with powders. This is just such a stunning highlighter. So I have that all over my cheeks. And then for my blush, I'm pretty sure this is like a blush highlighter in one. This is from Pony Effect. It's the Be Loved. It looks like this, just a really pretty pinky peach coral. For my lips, I'm using a lip stain from Romand. This is their Zero Velvet Tint in number 6. Just looks like this. It kind of has like a moussey texture, so I don't like to apply a thick coat of it. I just apply like 2 big dots on each lip and then rub it out. It definitely goes way more opaque than this. It's more of like a mulberry shade. Final look of the Clio Kill Cover Glow Cushion Foundation. That's a mouthful. We are finishing with one of my favorite cushion foundations of all time. I go between the Moonshot Micro Setting Fit Cushion and the Micro Correct Fit Cushion. There's also a glassy cushion. I purchased that a couple years ago. I tried it and I was like, not impressed. I thought for sure that would be my favorite out of the 3. I'm not quite sure if there was something weird with packaging to where I got the wrong cushion inside of the compact, because as I mentioned earlier, these cushions just like pop right out of the compact, because the one that I got, like the formula was so matte on my face. It was not glassy whatsoever, but I truly think that I just got a bad one because I know that that's like a Glow Pick Award winner, kind of like how we have like the Allure winner. So I do think I might reorder it and see what happens with the next one, because I've already decluttered the other. But I do go between both of these. However, out of the 2, I think the one that most people would like would be the Moonshot Micro Setting Fit Cushion. The only thing is the shade range. I really feel like Moonshot is missing out. If they brought this over to the States and expanded the shade range, I feel like this foundation would seriously take off. The finish, the coverage, the longevity, everything about this one is so pretty. So like the other cushion foundations, it kind of follows the same 3 main claims. UV protection, this one has SPF 50+, PA+++, anti-aging, brightening. This one also has this like water cooling effect. It says that it has I wrote it down, Aqualicia extract, and that's just supposed to hydrate dry skin. It doesn't stay cool on the face. It's just whenever you're first popping it on with the cushion, you just feel this really nice, like almost kind of like ice roller effect, but it doesn't stay cold after application. It's described as semi-matte. I would not describe it that way at all. I would say it's more of a comfortable, slightly glowy satin finish. I think the main reason that they say semi-matte is because this one dries down way more than any of the other cushion foundations in today's roundup. I mean, I've definitely tried matte cushion foundations. I personally don't like that because I don't like a matte finish. Anytime you start to feel like your cushion is starting to dry out, before you go in with the refill, if you just get clean tweezers and flip your cushion around, you'll notice that there's still like so much more product that's just soaked in at the bottom. If you are similar to my skin tone, I think you will absolutely adore this cushion foundation. No matter what time of the year, whether it's summer, winter, spring, I just always love the way that this one sets on my face. It's such a comfortable formula. That brief cooling effect is really nice, but more than anything, it's just the finish, the way that it dries down, how comfortable it is on the face. It's just the perfect amount of coverage. I would say that this is a true medium coverage. This one kind of just starts off medium compared to some of my other cushion foundations that I find that you have to kind of build up. If you don't love it with the puff, you can still always just go in with a beauty blender if you want, but I find that the puffs just do a great job of distributing the product. So see what I mean? I wouldn't describe that as semi-matte. Like, I feel like it definitely still has just kind of a natural radiance to it. It's not as glowy and wet as some of the other cushion foundations, but it just has this nice natural skin finish glow. I have tried the Moonshot. I think it was the Correct Fit. If you guys caught my foundation declutter, you would have seen it in there in just the normal liquid foundation version, like in a glass bottle. And I didn't love it. I thought for sure I would be head over heels for that one, but I just didn't like it compared to the cushion. And as you can see, even on my under eyes, the coverage is just so pretty. It's not too much, it's not too light. It's just the perfect amount. Now, this doesn't claim to have any sort of blurring capabilities, but I didn't go in with any sort of smoothing primer today. In fact, I'm not wearing any primer. The only sort of slightly glowy base that I have underneath is the Heda SPF. I love that one. I think it's the Sun Sport or Sun Mate, I forget which. That one has a little bit of an iridescent glow, but it doesn't have any sort of smoothing quality. And I just feel like this one just does something to my pores where I just feel like it makes my skin look healthy and even. I don't have any concealer on or anything like that, but I still feel like my under eyes look great. Obviously, they could use a little bit more brightening with concealer, but I'm just gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna go in with like bronzer and blush, but I won't be using any setting powder. I truly do feel like this, like the setting technology in this does do a great job to where it just stays in place. Now, if you are really, really oily, obviously you are gonna wanna set areas, but if you just like a natural satin finish with just a little bit of that like natural radiance, you will love this one. I decided to stick with the cushion theme and used my Kaja bronzer in the shade 01 Shady. For my blush and highlighter, I'm using the same products as yesterday. And then if you are curious, on my eyes, I'm using this new, I almost dropped it, new eyeshadow palette from NARS. This is their Orgasm Rising. It came out for Valentine's Day. NARS has been killing it with these 9-pan palettes. I just love the formulation of the shadows in here. I've personally always been a fan of NARS shadows, but I just feel like with the 9-pan palettes, they've just been chef's kiss perfection. All right, so there's a roundup of my cushion foundations. Unfortunately, we did have to eliminate 2 of them, but honestly, I felt like these 3 were good, strong contenders to test throughout the video. Now, if I can only pick one out of the 3/4, it would be the Moonshot Cushion Foundation. The wear time, everything, I just feel like this would suit so many different skin types, whereas you have to be dry and appreciate, like normal to dry skin types, and appreciate something really glassy and dewy in order to like pony effect and the Clio Kill cover. Totally sucked about checking in at the end of the day for wear time. Honestly, when it comes to the end of the day, I'm just ready to like wash my face, get ready for bed and chill with the family. But there wasn't anything like remarkable about wear time with these. I felt like they just wore like an average foundation for me, mainly because I did go through areas and set them with powder like on the lower areas of my face. But if you tend to be normal to dry and you feel like foundations just wear comfortably on you for 7 to 8 hours, I feel like you would find the same with these. The Moonshot, this lasts like any of my other foundations in my foundation collection. It's not like as long wear as something like Estee Lauder Double Wear, but when it just comes to like my House Labs, my Makeup by Mario, I feel like this stands right up there with those. And I hope you guys found this video helpful. If there's anything that I missed, definitely leave your questions down below. I'll be happy to answer them. I hope this kind of like introduced you to some K-beauty products if you've never really used them before. I do have a K-beauty playlist, which I'll go ahead and link here and down below. If there's any other products you guys are interested in, let me know. I'd be happy to get them and review them for you. That's it for this one. As always, thanks so much for spending part of your day with me. If you haven't already, I would love if you subscribed. I'm over on Instagram and TikTok as well if you want to hang out some more, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.